Hello and welcome to the Ellen Made Book Club and round 4 of Booktuber Bingo. I'm at my cabin today, so I don't have my bookshelves behind me or very good lighting or a comfortable chair or anything like that, but this is the best that I could do, so I hope that you will bear with me for this video. I also have a couple of updates since last week. I realized that the book that I was listening to, No Friend to This House by Natalie Haynes, works very well for the prompt to read a book with an animal on the cover. That one was G60, and I have that on both my number 7 and number 8 bingo cards. And then I also read Endling by Maria Riva, and I put that for a book by a Canadian author, so B2, which I have on my bingo card number 8. And then I've also read Heartstopper Volume 4, which was for the prompt to read a book that will have you in your feels, and that one definitely did, so that worked out well. And that was G55, so I have that on my number 7 bingo card, and that is in the G column, and so now I have 3 books finished in that column as well. And I do have the Book of Guilt in my little stack of books behind me there, which are the books that I brought for my 2-day stay here at the cabin. So yeah, I want to have some variety and some options when I come here. So we'll see. Maybe I will read that this weekend because I still haven't. I think that's all of the updates, and let's get into the prompts.
Also, it's actually 16 numbers this week. Oops. First number of 16 is going to be G57.
That's the number I have on my G row on the number 7 bingo card. So that's my first bingo. Yay! Okay. Let's mark that down and let's see what the prompt is, because this one I might have to read to get that. Well, I mean, I do have to read it to get that bingo, but since I already have 3 books finished and, you know, the Book of Guilt that I want to read, oh, I'm nervous now. Okay, let's see what this one is.
Hey y'all, it's Ashley from the realm of Kid Lit Comics, and because I love everything that is middle grade and comics, my prompt for you is to read a middle grade graphic novel. It can be any genre that you like as long as it is middle grade and it is a graphic novel. Happy TBR Harvest.
I already have. I've read Thornhill, which is middle grade, and a graphic novel, a horror graphic novel. I also picked this one up from the library today, and this isn't a graphic novel, it's just a regular like chapter book, I think. I don't really know. I was just browsing on the library website and I thought it looked like a fun like a fun book for the season. I don't know. It just, I thought it would be like, you know, it's got some witchy stuff on it and the big moon and colors and like, I don't know. I just felt like it might fit some prompts. So I made a reservation for it and I picked it up on the way here. The Double Trouble Society by Carrie Hope Fletcher. It's not a graphic novel, and I've already read a middle grade graphic novel, so I'm gonna put Thornhill on this prompt. Now I just need to read The Book of Guilt by Catherine Tidgey to have a bingo on this row. Okay, fun.
Your next number is going to be B8.
Nope, don't have that one.
Our third number is going to be B13.
I have this one on my number 7 bingo card, so let's see what the prompt is.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading. I want to say a big thank you to Leandra for letting me join the TBR Harvest Fund. For those of you that don't know me, I love to read fantasy, thrillers, and romance, and I kind of have this reputation that I don't know how we got here, but I'm not mad about it, where people associate me with single dads, and I can't complain. I do love a good single dad romance. So the prompt I've decided to give to you all is actually, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. where it can be a single parent or single guardian. And I do have some recommendations for you guys. If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. It is a book that completely took over my whole personality. But some other recommendations I have for you is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage, Ignite by Melanie Harlow, one of my favorite girl dads. And then for a single mom recommendation, we have Slapshot. I am so looking forward to seeing what everybody ends up putting on their TBR and getting to in the month of October. I hope you guys have the best TBR harvest.
Okay, so that's a fun prompt. I don't read romance, but I'm sure I have books with single guardians. The one that comes to mind is The Summer Book by Tove Jansson, which isn't really very seasonal, but that's one that I have on my shelf. I don't really think any of these will work. Do you think that A House with Good Bones could work for this? Because it's just the mom living in that house and then the daughter is coming there. I don't think that there was a dad in the picture. Like, she's not really like a guardian because the daughter is adult. So I'm not sure I have anything for this, like, at all. I don't know. There might be a single parent in one of the books that I want to read, but I don't really have anything for this one, I don't think. I'm gonna leave this blank for now because I don't have any of that. Okay, let's see what the next number is.
Your fourth number is going to be N42.
Nope.
O74. That is O74. Nope. B4.
I do have B4 on my number 8 bingo card, so let's see what that one is.
Hello, I'm Ollie from the channel Criminally, and I'm delighted to have been asked by Leandra to take part in Booktuber Bingo again for TBR Harvest. Now, you might be able to tell from all of the white in my beard that I'm slightly older than some of the other people taking part in Booktuber Bingo this year. One of the things I love is rediscovering older books, books that nobody talks about anymore. So that's my challenge for you, is to go through your TBRs and find an older book that you just don't hear discussed on Booktube at all and read that for this year's TBR Harvest. Thank you.
Okay, so I think most of these are pretty new or people are talking about them, so I don't think any of those will count. I was thinking about Never the Wind by Francesco Dimitri, but that is from 2022, so it's not like older, but I've never heard anybody talk about it. It sounds really good. It has like 800 ratings on Goodreads. I don't know, maybe that's an option. When is this one from? Also 2022. Like, how old does it have to be? I mean, I can make that decision for myself, but I feel like the older books that, you know, but then also, I don't know, let me see. I did take a picture of my bookshelves before I came here so that I could, you know, peruse my bookshelves. An older book that I don't hear anybody talking about. And I would like it to be a book that, you know, fit the season a little bit, but I feel like that's, you know, the ones that I have chosen already. Maybe I could do a thriller that I don't really hear people talking about. I don't hear anybody talking about The Force by Dawn Winslow. Game of Lies by Claire McIntosh. I do hear people talking about Claire McIntosh sometimes, but she's not like one of the popular names, at least not on the channels that I watch. I also have I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. I think I've heard someone mention it, or I've seen it somewhere being mentioned in like a positive way. That's from 2016. Okay, I have Little Secrets by Anna Snoekstra. She had a new release this year that I wanted to read, like One of Us or something. The Ones You Love, maybe? So maybe I could try one of her earlier books, which came out in 2017. So it's not like super old, but Yes, I do have I Let You Go on audiobook as well, so that's an option. And I do think I like that narrator as well. Oh, it's in Swedish? Okay. I'm gonna go with a thriller, I think, by either Anna Snoekstra or Claire McIntosh, because I don't really hear anyone talking about either of them. Okay, let's see what the next number is.
O64. That is O64. Our next number is N32. That's N32.
I have this on my number 8 bingo card.
Hey there, beautiful bibliophiles. I'm Atia here at Booking In with Atia. Since I'm all about reading and highlighting BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, authors and books, my prompt for you is to read a book written by a BIPOC author and starring a BIPOC main character. For this to count, both the author and the protagonist need to be Black, Indigenous, and or person of color. So, for example, I have yet to read Lost Souls Meet Under a Full Moon by Mizuki Tsujimura, which is written by a Japanese author and stars a Japanese main character. So this would definitely account for this prompt. Happy TBR Harvest, everyone. Bye.
Okay, that's a great prompt. Maybe Reservoir Bitches by Dalia de la Cerda could work. I'm also in line for The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer from the library, which is the author of Braiding Sweetgrass. And I had hoped to read Braiding Sweetgrass this year, but I just think that's, too big of a commitment for me this year. So The Serviceberry is her new release and it's a lot shorter. And I think it's about like how animals and nature, the circle of life, but like how animals and maybe plants too, like do services for each other, and like how, a bird will eat a berry and then drop it somewhere else. And so then that helps the tree that the berry came from, or the bush or whatever. I think that's what it's about, and I think that's just so great. And I want to read that, and I have that on my end of year TBR, and I don't really know when I'm gonna get that from the library, but if I do get it within October, I might count that one. If not, I also have The Night of Baba Yaga, which I really want to read, by Akira Otani. I could read James by Percival Everett. I have Diary of a Void by Emi Yagi, which I would also like to read soon. That feels very like fall vibes because of the fall leaves on the ground. I could read Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro, or Every Version of You by Grace Chan. I think I'm going to go with The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer and just hope that I get to it, or that I get it from the library in time for the event. She did say to read a book with a main character who's also a person of color. So maybe a nonfiction doesn't work very well for that. I could count The Man Who Lived Underground by Richard Wright, which I have already read. And then I have other ones on this bingo board as well. So I'm going to do that.
Moving right along with the next number. And that's going to be I-29.
I have I-29 on both of my bingo cards and another bingo on the number 8 bingo card. So let's see what this prompt says.
Hello, my name is Brooklyn from the channel Brooklyn Reads. Thank you so much to Leandra for letting me be part of TBR Harvest. I'm super excited for this year's round. My prompt to you guys is to read a book that is a genre blend. A genre blend is a book with 2 or more genres mixed into one. For example, I recently read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid and absolutely loved it. As you can tell, I've lent it out. But this was a genre blend between romance and historical fiction, and I loved the mix of both, and I just thought it was such a fun time. So I challenge you to read a genre blend yourself. Good luck and have fun.
Okay, I already have The Garden picked for the genre blend, which was specifically fantasy horror, and this one has so many different genres listed on Goodreads, so I think this one would definitely count. The same thing goes for A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, which would also be fantasy horror genre blend, I think. I could also pick The Darlings of the Asylum by Noel O'Reilly for this prompt, I think. That is historical fiction and sort of psychological thriller. Maybe I should put that one for that. Where does it go? What number are we on even? I-29. Oh, I have that on both. Let's pick The Darlings of the Asylum for this one, just to have some variety on my bingo cards. And yeah, we'll see if I manage to get to it. Let's see what the next number is.
The next number is B7. That is B7.
Nope.
068. That is 068.
I have 068 on my number 7 bingo card, so let's see what this one is.
Hi everyone, I'm super excited to be part of TBR Harvest this year. My name is Lexi, my channel is Books with Lexi, and while I read a little bit of a lot of genres, my favorites are horror and thriller. And within those genres, something that I usually tend to love is a fast-paced book. So my prompt for you is to read a fast-paced book. This can be in any genre, and it can be interpreted in a couple different ways. You could go on something like the Storygraph, where it tells you the pacing of the book. You could look for something like When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, or Straight by Chuck Tingle, where the characters are moving locations a lot. You could go for something like Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess, or This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin Marceau. And even though they are stuck in the same place, something is always going on. Speaking of people being stuck, No Exit by Taylor Adams or The Passengers by John Mars also work. I hope you have fun with this prompt.
I think that the audiobook that I'm listening to at the moment could qualify for this. 48% think that this is a fast-paced thriller, and I think that is good enough. And that book is Someone Knows by Vi Keeland. It's a psychological thriller. I think I'm gonna go with that one because I am 85% through, so I'm gonna be done today probably, or tomorrow, so that's always good. Perfect. Let's see what the next number is.
The next number for you to be looking at your bingo card for is N38. That's N38.
Yes, N38 is on my number 8 bingo card.
Hello friends, I'm Beatrice. I'm the host here of Beatrice's Book Nook, and I want to start by thanking Leandra for once again inviting me to be a part of TBR Harvest. This is, I believe, the second time that Leandra has asked me, and I'm quite thankful for her question and for her thinking of me. I mainly and primarily read fantasy. That is my comfort genre, and I also like to think that I'm known for being a Portuguese YouTuber. Although I do my videos and mostly do my content in English, I also try to be known as someone that advocates for mental health quite a lot. But I think that a fun one would be for you to read a translated book that has any type of mental health representation in it. I think that would be fun and a different challenge, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with.
That's a challenge, isn't it? I do have like translated books, but I don't know if any of them really deal with mental health. The first one that comes to mind is Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro, because I just, assume that mental health is a theme of that book, because the daughter is said to have ended her own life, and then her mother is dealing with that. So I don't know if that's like specifically about mental health, but I would assume that that's part of the story. Diary of a Void is about a woman in a workplace, and there's some kind of deception, and I think that it's around pregnancy. And so I think there are some mental health aspects to that. I think I'm gonna note down both for now, and then we'll see which one I end up reading, if any of them.
The next number is going to be G47.
I have G47 on my number 8 bingo card, and I also realized that I had G57 on my 8 bingo card as well. And so I already had a bingo on that as well, and now I have another bingo with G47. So let's see what the prompt for G47 is.
Hiya, we are Booktube with Simon and Amy.
And our prompt is love and hate, because she loves me and I... Oh no, that's not right.
So our reading tastes are polar opposites. So we didn't tend to read the same books. There's like a tiny wee slim crossover. So we want you to read a book that you're either going to really, really love, you're really going to hate, or a book that gets quite mixed reviews.
Can't wait to see what you come up with.
Bit like Marmite.
Okay. G47, love hate. This is an interesting one. The first one that comes to mind is We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. The first book, Bunny, is that kind of book where people either love it or hate it. But the sequel has gotten very bad reviews so far, at least the ones that I've seen. I haven't looked at the rating or anything, but the people that I watch that have read it have not enjoyed it. And I don't really know why, because I tend to skip those parts of videos because I want to read it myself and see what I think of it. But I feel like that's a book that I could either love or hate. I hope I'm gonna love it, but I don't know. I'm very nervous to read it now because, yeah, it doesn't have the best reviews so far. I do think that The Darlings of the Asylum is kind of similar. That also doesn't have the best reviews, so especially about how the author has like depicted women. That might be an option as well. I'm gonna have both of them because I already have both of them on my bingo cards already. Options. Okay. Next number.
B15. The next number is B15.
Yes, I do have B15, and I do with that get 2 more bingos on my number 8 bingo card. So let's see what prompt this is.
Hi, I'm Covers with Cassidy, and recently I tried to see if I could predict my next 5-star read using the trend I saw in my 5-star reads, and that's what I want you to do as well. So what you're gonna do is look at your favorite books, look at all the 5 stars you've given, and see if you can see any connections, any themes, any tropes that are similar across all your favorite books. And then you're going to read a book that fits those themes, those connections that you found. It can be one connection, it can be multiple connections, whatever works for you. For example, in my 5-star reads, military academies came up a lot, so I definitely could read something based on military academies. Or reluctant allies to lovers also comes up a lot in my favorite books, so that's another similarity they have. But it could also be character personality types, things like that, settings, whatever you think that your favorite books have in common. Essentially, you're doing a 5-star audit, and then you're picking a book based on the trends you see.
5-star audit. Okay, so I feel like that's what I've done with most of these books. I wanted to read The Book of Guilt because I liked Pet by Catherine Chidgey, but I also think that this has like mystery. This one also reminds me of Coram House by Bailey Seybold, which is not a similar kind of book, but it also has like orphanage and darkness. Speculative fiction always gets me interested, and I think that The Garden by Nick Newman is also a speculative fiction, and I know that's like a genre, but it's also a specific type of story, and it's not necessarily that it's like the stories themselves are similar, but they all have like something mysterious about them, and like something, I don't even know how to explain the plot of these. I mean, this one I know, but it's like, it's a man who ends up in hell and has to find his own life in a book, and like it's very like abstract, and you know, books with ideas. I think that's the common theme. Like, I wanted to read this one because I liked Piranesi, and this one came up as like a, you know, people also liked kind of book. And these two are also, you know, speculative, and like, I think it's more about the idea than it's a specific genre or a specific trope. Like, The Garden is about 2 elderly sisters, and they're tending to a garden based on an old almanac that their mother left them, and then they don't know about any other people, but then one day a boy appears in the garden, and they're like, what's that? And like, I don't really know a lot of other books that are like that. It's an interesting idea, and I just want to see what the author does with it, and like, I don't know, is that too vague? Because those are the kinds of books that I tend to be interested in, like a new weird idea, and like something speculative and something like twisting stuff. The Book of Guilt is, I think, alternate history, and they have 3 mothers called Mother Morning, Mother Afternoon, and Mother Night, and they have 3 books, the Book of Dreams, the Book of Knowledge, and the Book of Guilt. It's just, I don't know, it's just it's a new idea, and that's what intrigues me. So either one of these could work, and I mean, I'm hoping all of these will be 5 stars, but we will see. Okay, so on my number 8 bingo card, I already have The Garden and A Short Stay in Hell on the top row. So I'm gonna take out those 2, and I'm gonna go with The Book of Guilt for this one, because I don't have this yet on my number 8 bingo card. So we're gonna go with The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey.
The next number and prompt is going to be I-27.
Okay, I have I-27 on my number 8 bingo card. Let's see what this one is.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Q from QWERTY, or the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. And my prompt for you is because I love the fall, and the thing I love the most about the fall is pumpkins. And what color are pumpkins? Orange. And what's my favorite color? Orange. So I want you to read a book with orange on the cover. And I would be remiss if not to recommend you some great indies out there, such as Catching Cinders by Kendra Merritt, Seeds by Chris Mandeville, Cursed Cocktails by S.L. Rowland, City of Mages by Kirsten Michelle and A.J. Cerna, and of course, a special edition of Mercy by Ian Haramaki. Wow, I messed up my own friend's name. Ian Haramaki. Anyway, these are some great books that I think you could definitely complete that prompt with. They're all indie and they're all fantastic. Check them out.
Okay, so I have plenty of options for orange on the cover. I could count The Garden by Nick Newman, but I just feel like I have that in so many spots already, so I want some variation. So I do have Diary of a Void by Emma Yagi, Fruit of the Dead by Rachel Lyon, Things We Do to Our Friends by Heather Darwent, or Never the Wind by Francesco Dimitri. I'm going to keep my options open and we'll see what the row ends up looking like. Next number.
And what is going to be the final number of week 4? Well, well, well. It is G50.
No! This is what it's looking like right now. And I have some updates. I did find a book with a single parent or single guardian. And I'm putting I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh on that prompt. In this story, there's a single mother and she watches an accident where her son dies, and it's a thriller. So I don't know. It's not exactly, the romance kind of single parent trope, but that's the best that I could do. Apart from that, I think everything is looking the way it did on card number 7. On bingo card number 8, I feel like I had a few more squares with several book options, and so I need to figure that out. In the top row, I have I-17, which is to read a book with a crone character, and I have picked out The Garden for that. But I also have Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, which also has an elderly main character, and so I think that could work for that, because I also have The Garden down here on I-30, which is a fantasy horror genre blend. And for that, I could read A House with Good Bones as well. So I just wanted to have some options because I don't want to have 2 of the same book in the same row. Like, I'm fine to double up and use the same book in several spots, but I don't want to have them in the same row. Like, I want to have 5 distinct titles to get a bingo. That's just a silly rule that I set myself. I could get a bingo on the top row here with The Book of Guilt, and then either The Garden or The Murder by Memory, Alice in Wonderland, A Short Stay in Hell, and then a historical fiction, or Listen While I Puzzle. But I haven't read any of those books yet. My next read is going to be The Book of Guilt, I think. I keep pushing it off. Anyways, I also realized that when I put in No Friend to This House by Natalie Haynes on the animal on the cover prompt, I took out We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad, and so I wasn't using that on anything. Like, I didn't have it on any of the squares all of a sudden. I have that as one of the options for the love-hate mixed reviews prompt on G47, and on that I also had The Darlings of the Asylum, but I think that I'm gonna go with We Love You Bunny on that one. I do have The Darlings of the Asylum on I-29, which is a genre blend, so I can still, read that, but I want We Love You Bunny somewhere on here, so I'm putting that on the, love-hate prompt. So let's get rid of The Darlings of the Asylum on that one and put We Love You Bunny. And this is also a possible bingo where I have already read 2 books. Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I did start and I wasn't immediately hooked, and I think that I will read that at some point and I will enjoy it, but the library copy that I had was just so disgusting. It was just dirty. And I didn't want to hold it. I had to return it to the library because someone else wanted to read it. So I don't think I'm going to get it back in October. So I think I need something different for this one, which is G53, which is favorite trope or buzzword. Maybe I could use women talking for this one because, you know, that's got female main characters, it's got religious community. I think that's gonna work out better. The bingo that I am the closest to is the G column on card number 7, because I only have to read the Book of Guilt, which I really should get to. I also have the second row here with I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh, Alice in Wonderland, Reservoir Bitches, the Book of Guilt, and No Friend to This House. And like so far I've only read one of them. On bingo card number 8, I have the top row, but I haven't finished anything in there so far. The second row I have finished 2 books in. This row has books that I am more keen to get to, I think, but they're longer books, so I don't really know if I can finish all of that in October. And then we have the bottom row here, which I've also finished 3 books in already: Endling, Thornhill, and No Friend to This House. So I would only have to read Diary of a Void and then The Garden or A House with Good Bones. And I don't know, I want to read both The Garden and House with Good Bones. So I also have the B column on card number 8, which would mean reading the Book of Guilt, Women Talking, or The Night of Baba Yaga, I Let You Go, and Alice in Wonderland. And then I've already read Endling. I don't know, I don't really see this being my TBR this month. Another option is the G column. Then I would need to read A Short Stay in Hell, Women Talking, and We Love You Bunny. That sounds like a good time. And I've already finished No Friend to This House and Thornhill. This is getting very complicated, and I feel like I have so many options for TBRs. The 3 up here are my top priorities that I really want to read. Women Talking is also a good option. That's on 3 different spots right now. I should keep The Garden down here and put Murder by Memory on the top row, right? So that I don't have The Garden on everything, because that's just boring, you know? I don't know. I feel like if I do read Diary of a Void, it would be nice to cross off at least 2 prompts with that. I think Murder by Memory is a good choice to read as well, and also Women Talking. I think that's going to give me like more options for bingo. Diary of a Void, I think I should also read, I guess. And I should also then read A Short Stay in Hell because it's up here and I can get that bingo, right? Is this my TBR then? I'm gonna focus on the Book of Guilt, The Garden, and We Love You Bunny, and then if I have time, I will read Murder by Memory, Women Talking, Diary of a Void, and or A Short Stay in Hell. Okay, I think that's a good plan, and that's where I need to stop for now. And yeah, only 1 round left, and then I will know what my options are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.